The men's predictions are out. Thank you to everyone who entered at home in the comments section. Now it's time for the women's, and that is top 10 and the 4 Grand Slams with a special wildcard selection.
It's time, that's right, for the WTA predictions for 2025. This one is a little bit of a potluck one, as we know. We've had some mainstays at the top of the women's game. It sort of turned a bit into the men's game. We had like a big 3 for some time, but now it's getting a little bit more interesting. A few younger players are coming through, and now this could be the year where someone completely different makes it into that top 10. Someone completely different wins a slam. We'll be giving you our predictions coming up on this episode, and hopefully I can beat JG.
Yeah, this year we need to try and find an Emma Navarro or a Jasmine Paolini, players we didn't anticipate to do as well as they did in 2024. Who is going to be that wild selection? I mean, one thing I would say is with Paolini, I was just having a look at it here. She was, at the end of 2023, 30 in the world. So it isn't that crazy that she found herself inside the top 10. What was crazy was how high she was inside the top 10. Her progression, it was looking like if she's going to have a really good season, it would be on the fringes. And what I mean by that is like a 10th, 11th, 12th, maybe 9th at a real push, but around there. To come 4th is insane. And that is because she was so good in the Grand Slams. It just goes to show, on the women's tour, if you're able to have a really good run at a Grand Slam, I think it counts for more than what it will on the men's. Because throughout the course of a season, the consistency maybe isn't there. So if you can have there's so many points at stake at a Grand Slam. If you can have a deep run, you are consolidated deep in the top 10.
Well, and like you saw with Barbora Krejcikova,
exactly,
you even make it to the tour finals as well. And that's because she finished high enough to be able to do so and won Wimbledon. Absolutely fantastic performance, really, from her, considering it wasn't a great year and she ended the year on a high. That's one person we need to look out for, really, in the predictions. Will myself or JG have Barbora in our top 10 or winning a slam in 2025? Stay tuned. You will find out. And make sure to play along at home as well. Tell us your picks in that comment section. We're always excited to read everybody's selections. And we'll maybe give a prize if anybody manages to pick every single Grand Slam winner. What do you reckon?
I think definitely. If you can get all of the Grand Slams right, then you win a prize from Game to Love. So make sure you register your selection in the comments. That goes for the men's as well. I know we didn't say it, but go over and check that video and put your comment in. I'm looking at Emma Navarro now because she was the other. This surprised me as well. She was 32 coming into 2023. I thought she was a lot further out, but ended the year in 8th.
Yeah, really, really solid player. Someone I was sort of keeping one eye on at the start of last year. And yeah, she was off to the races, and now she's a mainstay, it seems, in the top 10. Will either of us have her dropping outside the top 10? Does she have the same level in her in 2025? Let's find out.
Exactly. And there's a lot of players who we've just done, obviously, our reaction to 2024 predictions, and the two names I always like to group together is Sakkari and Ons Jabeur.
Yeah,
they've always featured inside our top 10. Is this the first year we do not include them? You'll have to wait and find out, but they've still got ability to be in there, especially Sakkari. I think Sakkari more so than Jabeur. The reason being, Jabeur, I believe, is 30. I feel like Sakkari is slightly marginally
29.
younger. So
just 1 year.
She may have. I feel like Sakkari, though, there's a player still in there. I think Jabeur has fallen off a cliff a little bit.
Yeah, very, very sad considering how well she's done, Jabeur, getting to slam finals as well. Like, a lot better than Sakkari's done in the slams. I do feel that you're right, though. She does have something in there that you feel that if she was to get to a final. She might be the one who's actually be able to get it over the line more than Jabeur. Jabeur's nerves just get the better of her.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Saka is not exactly known for getting things over the line either, but let's wait and see what we've got this year. So 2025, it's a new year, and this is our top 10. And coming in at number 10, there's going to be some surprises, maybe not for people who watch the podcast, because I've put one of my favourite tennis players, the 22-year-old Leylah Fernandez, the US Open finalist of a few years ago, and I believe now's her time. I think she's gone about everything in the correct way. There's clearly a good player in there, but we saw spells last year in certain matches where I thought she was really good and excelled. It wasn't enough matches. That was the problem.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
I think that, I totally agree with you. I think she definitely has the quality, Leylah Fernandez, but the only problem with her, like you said, is the consistency. I think that she gets a little bit down on herself. She's only 22 though, so I think everything's understandable. She's been to a slam final. She's won a few WTA titles. I think that she can put it all together. Every player has their year. We don't know when Leylah Fernandez's year is going to be, but I still think that there is one in her that could be an incredible one, and see her inside that top 10. I think 10, it might even be higher if she has a really good year.
And the reason I've been highlighting at the start Paolini and Navarro is because they were in the 30s last year.
Yep.
Leylah Fernandez is in the 30s this year, and it seems to me that it's a nice position to be in to push into the top 10. A young player in the 30s of the rankings in 2024. They're a good enough player, I believe, to push on and have that extra difference if they've got it in them the following year. And I think she's going to be one who can do it, and I'm happy with her in 10th.
Yeah, same. And same goes for me having Marta Kostyuk. I mean, somebody I probably wouldn't even considered a year ago, but the fact that she had such a good year last year, she's ended up in 18th in the rankings ending the year. The year before that, she was in number 39. She's getting better and better. She's only 22 as well, so it's weird that we both got a 22-year-old as our number 10. And I think Marta Kostyuk, I still don't think the level of consistency is that great, but I've seen performances from her against certain other players that have just really consolidated the fact that I think that she's actually very dangerous against anyone now on a tennis court. I mean, maybe bar one or two, but I think if she avoids them, we could see her pick up a few WTA titles, and who knows, go deep in a slam. That's enough for a top 10 for me.
So you've given me my target for the year, the person who I want to lose every match, Marta Kostyuk, and that's That's the person I'm going to have this year. Last year it was Mukova. This year I've got Kostyuk. And I don't mean anything against her, but I can't have Ben beating me. So I wouldn't mind seeing Marta Kostyuk lose some matches.
I can't keep going against Leylah Fernandez.
You do anyway. You do anyway, so it doesn't change anything for you. In number 9, we have the same player, Diana Snyder.
Well, I mean, speaks for herself, to be fair. I mean, I'm a bit annoyed. This is like our Jack Draper, but on the women's side. Both got Draper at 9, I think, wasn't it?
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Now we've got Snyder. I mean, Snyder's sort of one that I had as I think it was like one of my qualifiers to watch like a year ago or so. And just from how powerful she was, I just thought, like, if you can harness that power like Sabalenka does and actually just wipe players off the court, then you're always going to be the threat on a tennis court. And you see, she finished the season winning in Hong Kong. She's just looks great. She beat Balter, she beat Fernandez, a couple of others in there, Layman's. But I just think that she's consistent, and that's the one thing that you need to get to that top 10. The fact that she is where she is at the end of the year in 13, I mean, and she's not even been that good all the year. I'd say that she's still got even more room to grow at 20 years old.
We could have undersold her.
Maybe.
She's someone who may even go like 4th or 5th or even better. I believe she's that good, and she's super
up 80
consistent.
Places.
Yeah, and she's good at all the surfaces. Last year she won 5 titles. Hua Hin on the hard, Paris, as a clay. That was a challenger. Bad Homburg grass,
Yep.
Budapest clay, Hong Kong hard. So she can win on all surfaces,
Quality.
any part of the year. So dangerous. In 2021, she was 800 in the world. So it's quite a rapid rise. Just a very, very good player and extremely young, 20 years old. So she's going to be someone you'd think was going to feature inside this top 10 for many years to come if she can maintain this level.
How interesting as well, because obviously everybody's eyes were on Mira Andreeva being the young Russian coming up, and that was what everybody's focus was supposed to be on, was Mira Andreeva, and yet she's surpassed her in last year, in a year where Mira Andreeva got to a semi-final of a slam. She still doesn't finish above Diana Schneider. And Diana Schneider, like you were saying, she's had some amazing wins. I mean, that bad Homburg one, she beat Badoza, Navarro and Vekic back to back. I mean, that is a real who's who to be able to win a tournament. So if you can beat players like that, then you are of the quality to be able to go, I say, deep in a slam as well. So keep your eyes peeled. She could be, and any of the slams as well. Like you said, she's good on all the surfaces.
Yeah, but still, with Mira Andreeva, she's got 3 years on her. She's only 17 years old, so I wouldn't put her down in the slightest. I think she's got a brilliant future and
for sure,
probably even better than Sneijder. But let's wait and see. In at number 8, I've got Qinwen Zheng. You've gone with Rybakina. I don't know what your relationship is like with Rybakina, because when she was first on the scene, I really liked her massively. Yeah. This is sort of before the podcast times when she was winning a lot of challenges. And then you got involved and loved her even more than what I ever did. And now you seem to always dismiss her.
Sort of fallen out of love, really. I don't know what's going on.
It's been like from 2024 onwards, but it's strange. You've had a real up and down relationship with Jelena Rybakina.
Yeah, I can't. I still think that she is, and I put my put my hat on the line here. I think that she is in that top 3, or I'd say top 4 definitely. She can beat all of those players who are the big ones on the women's tour. The only problem is
not Paulini.
I'd say that, Pauline is actually one of her sort of nemesises on the tour. That's the problem. It's a bit of a strange one as well. Obviously, the height differential.
What is it, like 4 love dead or something?
Insane.
She can't beat her.
But even saying that, I think Rybakina, the fact that she can mix it at the back end of slams with the likes of like your Sabalenkas, Igas, those type of people, and you actually fancy her to beat players like that, it's just the consistency, and that you just don't know. I don't know if she's good within herself off the court.
Yeah, but then why, if you're saying that she can bat with all them players, why have you put her 8th? I don't understand your logic.
I feel like there's a lot more going on off court that we don't know about, that is affecting the performance.
So you think she's going to lose against a lot of lower ranked opposition?
I put her, bear in mind.
Or do you think she's not going to play events?
Bear in mind, I put her in 6th last year, and where did she finish? 6th. And that's what I mean. So now I'm going for another punt. I think that the slide goes down a little bit more. I think she may.
I think she had a bad year last year and finished 6th. That was a bad year for her. I would anticipate her to have a better year.
I think it's a mental thing.
You think she's going to get worse?
I think it's a mental thing, and unfortunately, I think that this is.
It's not a mental thing, mate. She didn't play a lot this year because she had injuries and other things going on off court what we don't really know about.
Exactly, other things going on off court, and this is what I'm alluding to. And
my question to you is: do you think she's not going to play, or she's going to play and lose?
I think that there would be some that she just doesn't play. I think that there's going to be a lot of like mystery still around Rybakina. Like, why did she pull out of that event? She didn't seem injured. What's going on? Like, I want to see her be consistent for a whole year, and then I might get back on the train for Rybakina. But until I see it, I'm not convinced.
Yeah, Qinwen Zheng for me. Everyone has raved about her. I think I put her inside the top 10.
This is your Rybakina, I feel, for me.
Yeah, but but I've never really been massive. I did try and sell her to you at the beginning. I believe she's good enough to be inside the top 10, and that's why I've got her there. She is a quality player, but despite that, I don't think she's as good as what a lot of people think she is. I think her ranking is higher than what she should be, and I feel she's going to drop off from this year. And 8th, I think, is being generous. she is someone who potentially might not even finish inside the top 10. I think she will because of her natural level alone is still better than a lot of players. So it is about an eighth, but she's not as good as everyone keeps making out she is. For me, she's not Rybakina, Coco Gauff, Iga, Sabalenka level, despite a lot of people putting her in that section as a big five.
Maybe not a slam. I think in other tournaments that she is, but she still needs to overcome.
I just don't see her as a big five player.
Slam. Well, in the US Open, she did get battered by Sabalenka. So, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there. She did lose to Mukova in Beijing. She went to 3 with Saba in Wuhan, had some good results. Won Tokyo, beat Schneider in that one, beat Fernandez. I still think I beat Paolini in the tour finals 6-1, 6-1. Let's not forget about that either. And beat Rybakina as well in the tour finals. But it's one of those. I think that it's in there. She's 22 as well. These are young players, so give them a chance.
Another young player, Mira Andreeva. I've got her at number 7, and you've gone with Pegula.
Yes, go on then. I don't think you need much introduction on yours.
Mira Andreeva, we spoke about her already, had a fantastic year, got to that semi-final. I think there's a better player in there. You see her recently playing with Sabalenka at some exhibition. She's very much liked amongst the locker room. She's got a great personality. She loves her tennis. And I think her hunger to win is more than a lot of players. And you see that in the way when she loses. Very emotional. She gets very upset. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She wants this as a career. And for 17, the performances we've already seen, it reminds me a bit like a Carlos Alcaraz. And I genuinely believe this is a future world number 1 in the making.
Yeah.
I feel maybe Carlos Alcaraz, Mira Andreeva, there could be some similarities. Mira Andreeva maybe not as good as what Alcaraz was at 17, but still, it's young. And listen, she's there or thereabouts with what Coco Gauff was like. So I believe that she can do some big things. I'd like to see her go really deep in a slam. Honestly, if she can get to a final or back end of all of the slams, then that will be a fantastic year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she won her first WTA title as well this year in Romania. Fantastic talent. Jess Pegula, there might be some people saying, why have you got her down in number 7? There's reasons for this. I think she's 30 years old right now. I think that at the moment, she really just wants to do well in slams. I think that we won't see Pegula maybe do as well as she has done in past years in Masters in 2025. But I think that she may prioritise the slams because she did so well last year. She got to the final of the US Open. That was like a real groundbreaking moment for her. And I think that will help her in 2025 to maybe push on and maybe do something bigger.
Okay, fair enough. Number 5, I've gone for Jessica Pegula. You've said everything you needed to say. I think she's one of the best in the Masters events. Grand Slams seems to always lose to the big players, but there's a few performances in there. We've seen what she did against Iga.
Yep.
I don't have much more to add. Jessica Pegula should be inside the top 10, and I think she is that level. I don't see her any more than 6. I think 6 is her peak.
Yeah, I've gone with Mukova, somebody for me who, if she plays a full season, she's easily in the top 10. I mean, you saw half a season last year and she nearly made it then. But one of the only players, I'd say, outside the top 5 who can really mix it with the top 5 and actually threaten them.
Who is the
in
top
tournaments.
5?
I'd say the
Are you
top
including Qinwen Zheng?
We have to wait and see.
No, but is Zheng your big 5 when you keep talking about big 5? Because this is where I feel people have gone overboard. And I know you've done it now. I can tell by your smile. But she's not a top 5 player.
She's got gold at the Olympics. Be eager at Roland Garros.
Vekic got silver. Is she the second best then?
Maybe. Let's see if she's in your top 5.
Here we go. So you've gone for Mira Andreeva in 5th, and I've gone for Jasmine Paolini. And this could surprise some people because there's been a lot of talk saying, "Oh, it was a one-off. It was a great season. She's going to do a Von der Alsova next year and not be there." I truly believe she can stay at this level. I think she is such a good player. She doesn't rely on her power. It's more everything else. And she does everything else
Speed.
so well. She's still pretty powerful. People always dismiss her because she's small. But the serve, I guess, is never going to be one of her biggest assets. But everything else is so good. And I love her as a tennis player and as a person. I want her to do well. I want to will her on. She's probably one of my favourite tennis players on the women's at the moment. I know that often does change, and it probably will change during the course of the season. But she's someone I can really get behind. And yeah, I want her to become. I want her to push on and maintain this sort of level. It'll be a big ask. I think she's got the ability to do it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she will. I mean, you haven't seen my top 5 already, but you're probably guessing who's going to be in my top 5. I can tell you now, Jasmine Paolini unfortunately did not make my top 10, but I would think
Why?
that she was still.
Tell us
I
now
still
why.
think that. I think she did such a high level that it's so hard to like repeat that high level. I think that she may finish around like 15 to 10, but I still think she'll be up there, but I don't think she'll make the top 10.
Okay. And Andreeva?
So Milan Jeva, yeah, I mean, she made the semi-finals of a slam for the first time. I've said it already. And she got to, quarterfinals in Madrid. So looks great on the clay. I'm excited to see what she's able to produce at some of the other slams as well.
And here he goes. He's got ahead of himself. King Wing Zheng in 4th. He absolutely loves her. He thinks she's one of the best players in the world. She certainly is, but not 4th.
Wow.
You've gone too high. You've gone too high with King Wing Zheng. I've gone for Coco Gauff on the other hand. Some people thinking maybe I've gone a bit too low on Coco. She finished, 3rd this year?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So I dropped her 1 spot. Coco's good, but she's just not as good as the others I've put above her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Kim Min-jae, I've already said it already. I think that she is potentially the future, 22 years old, always growing. The Olympics was a massive thing for her. I think that we will see her push on. I expect big things in 2025. 5, I think, what did I say? She's 5 in the world when she finished this year. I think 4, natural progression.
Number 3, I've gone for Jelena Rybak, and I think she's going to have a fantastic year,
Ooh.
better than last year.
It's a
It
big
was a
one for us,
shambolic one, but yet she still finished 6th, which just shows her ability. There's 3 top players in the world, and she's part of them. Let's be honest. Sabalenka, Iga, and Rybak. They're the best 3, and I think we're going to see that trio at the top. Iga in 3rd. That surprises me.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, when you come down to the final 3, I've got, Iga, Saba, and I've obviously got Coco Gauff. Those are the 3 I've got to pick between.
To have Coco Gauff inside the top 2, I think is crazy.
Well, anything in this world is crazy, but a player that keeps growing, we'll wait and see. Iga, I feel she's so good on the clay, but I still feel that she can come unstuck on the other surfaces. We saw her vulnerability at the US Open against Pegula last year. We now know that Coco Gauff can beat her on a hard court. Grass, she's never really looked that good on. And the Australian Open's never really been too strong a tournament. So we're really looking at clay for Iga, and that's why I feel that until she really solidifies herself, I know that she does have some other tournaments she is good at as well, but are those tournaments enough to make you a number 1 or 2? And at the moment, because if she doesn't even win Roland Garros this year, then we're going to see where she really would finish.
I think you forgot how good she is on the hard courts.
She is good.
She still can go toe-to-toe with Sabalenka and beat her on hard courts, and I would anticipate her to do so from time to time next year as well.
She's only 23 as well, still growing.
Yeah, listen, Iga, I think it's terrible not to have her inside the top 2. I will give you a side bet right now that there's no chance that Iga will finish below 2nd. But let's wait and see. You've gone for, well, this is even crazy. I mean, I've got Iga in second. You've gone for Sabalenka. That means number one, you've got Coco Gauff finishing the year number one. I've got Sabalenka finishing number one. We'll start with two, though, briefly. I've said everything I need to say about Iga, but Sabalenka, I'm surprised you put her second. She is the best player in the world.
She is. I mean, this was
why is she not there then? Why is Sabalenka not going to finish world number one for you, Ben?
She's the best player in the world this year. Doesn't mean she's going to be the best player in the world next year. And that's the one thing on the women's.
You think Coco Gauff's going to go up another level next year?
Yeah, I do. She's 20 years old. You got a potato. She's 6 years.
And what are you basing it off? Like, what have you seen from Coco this year? What's made you think?
She won the WTA finals. That was one big factor, and that is a big thing. She beat Sabalenka in straight sets. She beat Kim Won-jung. She lost to Barbora Krejcikova. It's the only one, but that one at least was a bit of a dead rubber match. That one, she didn't need the win. This is recency bias, yes, but that's proof she can beat these big players yet again. Sabalenka hates playing her. She has won over on Sabalenka in big matches. And Iga, she's managed to beat her twice now. This is something that's growing. And I think Coco Gauff, we're starting to see the confidence grow in Coco as the years are coming. She's been on the tour, it seems like about 6 years already. So you've got to think. Like, it's going to click eventually. And when it does, I think everybody's in trouble.
You said about tour finals. In 2021, Garbina Muguruza won it, and then she retired. 2022, Caroline Garcia won it, and then has looked terrible ever since. So, I've not got 2023, Iga did, and that's Iga. But Coco Gauff, I wouldn't use the tour finals, I think, as a reason as to why you think she's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm just using
Historically, it's not worked like that. But it might do this year. You may be onto something.
Well, I'm just putting it down to her age. The same that I've done with Alcaraz on the men's. I think that being younger, I think there's more room for growth. And I think that they've only just got started.
Okay, well, you've heard what our predictions are. Let us know in the comments section what you agree with, what you don't. Mine is Sabalenka, Iga, Rybakina, Coco Gauff, Paulini in 5th. Pegula 6th, Mirandreva 7th, Kim Won-jung 8th, Snyder 9th, and Leylah Fernandez in 10th. And yours, Ben?
Right, Gauff number 1, Saba number 2, Iga 3, Zheng 4, Mirandreva 5, Mukova 6, Pegula 7, Rybakina 8, Schneider 9, Kostyuk at 10.
And looking at them lists, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased because I'm looking. I just can't see how I could feasibly lose. There is a lot of opportunities for me. I quite like your predictions up until 5. I think they're quite good. The back end, Kostyuk's quite good. From 5 and above, I'm just not so keen on it at all. I think Kim Won-jung's too high. I think Iga's too low. Saba's too low. And Gauff is certainly too high. But only time will tell. Maybe you are onto something and you know something which I don't.
Hopefully. Right, let's get stuck into, before we go to our Grand Slam predictions, let's speak about our wild card. Make sure to play along at home. Pick a player outside of the top 100 that you see climbing the rankings in 2025 and having a standout year. It can be an old player, could be a new player. But as you know me, I normally go for the youth because I want to see someone new come through. I mean, I'm not that bothered if it's like somebody who's making a late resurgence in their career. Nice when it happens, but I want to see some fresh blood on the tour.
I'll let you go first, Ben. Who is your wildcard pick?
My wildcard pick is Iva Jovic. That's right, the 17-year-old from America. That name doesn't give you American vibes, but she is born of Serbian parents, and that means something.
Djokovic vibe.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Began playing tennis at the age of 5. Won the Orange Bowl. Don't forget about that in 2021. That's a fantastic thing when you're looking for quality of a up-and-coming tennis player. The Orange Bowl is that. She did play in the US Open this year, and she played and she won in her first round match. Magda Linette she took out in straight sets. She went to 3 with Alexandrova in the second round. She's got good quality for a 17-year-old tennis player. She's sitting at 189 in the world right now. She's got a couple of she's got a couple of ITF titles to her name, but judging on her performances, I think that she can easily break the top 100.
Okay, fair enough. My one, it's been really tough, Ben. It's been a real challenge for me. I've been very unsure. I've gone all over the place, really, with my prediction. And I've changed it a few times. I was very close to going for Anka Todoni, the Romanian player. She's very good on the clay courts.
I don't know you're close to picking. There's no caveats here.
No, but I'm just going to put that in there. I was very close to picking Anka Todoni. Make sure you get that little sound bite there, just in case she does very well. Instead, I went with someone else. I went with Polina Kudermetova. It's not the Veronika Kudermetova, the one we know, but she has reached a high of 106 in the world. She achieved it towards the end of the year. She's getting better and better. She plays some doubles as well. She's Russian. We love the Russians on the tour. They're very good. And there's been some good results she's had through the year. She's had some experience now in the slams. And I think that's going to put her in good stead. Always on the rise, consistently getting better and better year in, year out. And my goal for her would be around 30 to 40. And I think that will be enough to beat you. I think she can finish 30 to 40 in the world. And that's not a bad rise.
You're a dreamer, Utton. You're a dreamer. That's never happening.
Did you say where your girl's going to finish? I've even forgot her name.
Iva Jovic. Remember the name.
Where's she going to
17 years old. The other one, 21 years old. I mean, I would be happy if she would finish inside if she can get to the top 50, I'd be really impressed. That would be a real groundbreaking year for Iva Jovic.
Yeah, Kudermetova, she's going to surpass 50. I think she's going between 30 to 40. So it's a nice little win for her.
Might even drop lower than where she is now, I think.
200.
No, who knows? Yeah, we didn't take that into consideration. What happens if our picked players finish lower?
Well, I just need mine to not drop as low as your one, and then it's all right.
That's true. That is true. Right.
Okay, on to the Grand Slams. The first one, Australian Open, not long to go now. Well, of course, you've gone for your new world number one, Coco Gauff. She's going to win the Australian Open. I'm going for the trusty Sabalenka. Is she going to win it? I think she will. I think she wins it without dropping a single set.
Wow. I mean, she was the double slam champion, obviously, on hardcourt. She was the Yannick Sinner of the women's game last year, wasn't she? And, yeah, she looked thoroughly convincing doing so. I feel like her reign has to come to an end. I think Gauff's been getting progressively better at the Australian Open, got to the semi-finals last year. She's now just had that big win in the WTA finals, and I think she can hit the ground running, win the Australian Open, and kickstart a really good year in 2025.
Have you ever seen a player win the tour finals, then win the Australian Open?
Djokovic.
The WTA finals. I don't think Djokovic has ever won the WTA finals.
Muguruza, maybe. No, I don't know. That's Muguruza one.
Recency bias. You've gone from the wrong approach. Coco Gauff, I think she'll be lucky to make the quarterfinals. And that's only if she has a good draw. Next up, Roland Garros. We'll skip this one. I think it's a very much straightforward one. I think Iga will win it. I've had Iga every single year, and I've got it right every single time. She is my Nadal on the women.
So that Paolini.
No, maybe she might get to the final. She could get to the final again.
Get double bageled in the final. Right.
Wimbledon. Finally, you got Sabalenka there. I can see that happening. But I've gone with the best grass court player in the world. I think when her serves pop in, it's difficult to beat her. Krejcikova knocked her out this year, the eventual champion. I don't think she's going to have that wobble again. I'm anticipating she's going to have a better year. And if she has a better year, then no one beats her at Wimbledon. She is the best player at Wimbledon pre-tournament. And it's hers to lose.
Make sure the immune system is not compromised before going into that. Sabalenka, I feel that she's equal, I'd say, to Rybakina at Wimbledon. I know obviously Rybakina's won it, but I think Sab, it's only a matter of time before she wins Wimbledon at some point. So this year could be a year.
US Open.
Ooh.
I've gone for Coco Gauff. And
love this. I love you cheering this on.
I might not have to cheer it on if it means she can get world number one, but I just feel this US Open, it's going to get to that stage, and then we're going to have all the big players go out early. And I'm not saying Coco's not a big player, but I just think she's going to have her chance, whereas she went out a lot of the other events, and she's going to save herself for the US Open with a home crowd, a tournament she's won before, good on the hard courts, ends the year strong, as we've seen this year, winning the tour finals. I think we'll see the best version of her, and we're not going to see the best of everyone else, and that's why she's going to go and win it.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of alluded to it in my pick for Pegula earlier, being in the top 10. I don't think that she's going to have an amazing year, but I think that now she's actually going to do well at the US Open. She's been to the final. I think this year could be the year that, if bear in mind, she only dropped one set to Mukova on the way to the final, and that was it in the semi-final. She beat Iga in straight sets, don't forget. She beat Kenin, she beat Rogers, she beat Schneider. She sort of made it look easy going up to the semis, and then just lost to Sabre in straight sets in the final. She might be able to turn the corner, and I think she's counting down at the moment. She's 30 years old, probably thinking now, don't let the nerves get to you, just play your tennis. She could be a US Open champion.
Yeah, that's one thing to consider. As a player gets old, you'd expect their nerves to sort of move away slightly. Yeah, and become a little bit more comfortable. Anyway, let us know your predictions in the comments section below. That is our WTA predictions for 2025. And, of course, our wild card and the top 10. Let us know what you guys think. And based off that, I'm very confident I'm going to beat Ben. I don't know what happened last year. He did manage to beat me on the women's. But I can assure you that will never happen again. And I'm very confident that it won't happen in 25.
Wow, that's it. I mean, I feel like I have to go a little bit out there on some of these predictions, but it does pay dividends. Tell us yours in that comment section. We want to hear who you've picked. And make sure, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Come on, let's get GTL up those rankings.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. And we'll see you very soon.
Oh, oh, oh.